Hi, you've reached John Arman.
See how this goes here. Trying to get hold of John Arman. Good morning, everybody. Holy moly, is my voice shot. That was a dirty, windy one yesterday. Got a lot of dirt in the mouth here. Let's see here. Let me know if you're hooked up here on the YouTube side. Is the audio coming through here? Oops. Try to get this straightened out here. Morning, Waylon. Oh, man. Good stuff here. As long as we can get John Arman to answer his phone now. We'll see. Maybe he's doing his calisthenics. Oh, man. That would help. Don't people usually carry their phones with them?
You've reached John Arman with Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. I'm not in
Morning,
right now.
Karen.
Leave your name and number.
I see how it is. Oh, shoot. How's everything going in the Mobridge area today, Karen? Oops. I'm texting some people here. If you know John Arman, have him call you. Say, wake up. All right. Hello.
Hey, sorry
Morning.
about
Hey, you're live on YouTube, just to let you know.
that. All right.
I wonder why your phone came in as anonymous. As an anonymous.
I don't know.
You starting to block people because of your fame and fortune, or what?
Because I'm wanted.
Dead or alive?
I'm wanted by the popo.
Popo. I seen a guy I went to high school with is wanted by the Popo.
Really?
Yeah. At least I seen some photos on, yeah. Or wasn't in my same grade, but went to Flasher School. The Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Radio.
You see about Jason Zinn's stepson?
I seen that. That's too bad.
Yeah. Pretty. Haven't talked to him. He's been keeping me in the loop, but haven't talked to him the last day.
Yeah, you never like to see that.
No.
You know, the sucky part, John, is we're getting at the age right now where this is going to be part of our normal lives, hearing this stuff of people that we went to high school with.
Yeah.
Grew up with and whatnot. It isn't. Man, is my voice shot.
What were you doing?
Well, I did Thursday, I had an auction in Jamestown. And then on the way back Thursday night, I stopped in Bismarck and did the Bismarck Cancer Center. Boxers for beer benefit.
There you go.
It was freaking awesome. Like crazy good. It was a good time. 350 drunk women just screaming. So it was good stuff here.
Which boxers did you wear? Your SpongeBob or?
I was the auctioneer. I didn't wear any boxers. But yeah, it was good. And then yesterday helped a guy who was in the corrals where everything is so dry and fine and dusty and the wind was blowing and howling, and it was a lot of dirt in the eyes and the throat yesterday.
Oh God, it's terrible. I mean, right now it's nice this morning because there's no wind and it looks like there's moisture on the ground because I use my sprinklers. Which which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing if it's going to be like this, because my water bill will be like $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Should be turkey hunting, but I was so sick of the wind yesterday. I'm so tired. Sometimes, as much as I love North Dakota, I get so frustrated because I swear to God, the wind blows all the time. Yeah. Can't set up a blind in the wind. You can't do that. I was fencing yesterday and doing a couple projects, digging a water hole and stuff like that, and that wasn't so bad back in the trees, but
yeah. Well, I think it's just a tip of the iceberg for this year, man.
Yeah. I ordered a water pump. I'm going to be pumping water in my food plots where I can.
So that's part of the questions I got coming up for you here too, is food plots in the drought. How do you do it?
Yeah.
So yeah, otherwise everything been going well for you?
Yeah. Turkey hunting's been good. It's been full of excitement. And, these last few times have been pretty not what I want, but it seems like the birds either want to play or they want nothing to do with you. Yeah. There's no in between.
That's all right.
But
at least you're getting out and having a little fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. This is a good time of year. Like I said, it's a little depressing though, because usually by this time been putting something in the ground and I haven't done anything because just unsure.
Yeah. Very unsure.
Yeah. Like I said,
the farmers around here finally said, enough waiting. We're just putting it in the ground. See what happens.
I'm going to have to. I mean, I'm trying to remember the years like this back in the 80s. I think we had it like that.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what I did back then.
Well, probably you had a VHS video recorder that was the size of a ghetto blaster on your shoulder running around trying to film.
That would have been back when Kurt and I did our first turkey film. I've got it somewhere. It's freaking hilarious. I
seen a clip of that one time.
Hair like Tarzan. Kurt's got hair. And we were trying to kill one and we couldn't, so we kind of recreated one and it was terrible.
Got to start somewhere, right?
So, it's gorgeous out.
Yeah, it looks nice. I got a branding immediately after the show. I got to get running over to.
When are you guys branding?
May 28th.
May 28th. Okay.
Yeah. Dixie said, pick a damn day so I know what to take off of work so I can start cooking. Like, all right, we're going to go with that day then.
What is that on is it a weekday or a weekend?
It is a Friday.
We go to school all the way up to then.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I think we go, one is Labor Day, like May 28th, somewhere in there, right?
29, yeah, 30, somewhere. I don't know. All right, stand by, John. We got 30 seconds here. Stations, 30-second check here. 30 seconds on. Mark. Come on, voice. Hold out for this one. Man, oh, man. All right, stations, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Mark. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio here. You can listening on great radio stations all throughout the Dakota Territory. KCJB in Minot, KLTC out of the Dickinson area, KFYR in Bismarck, Mandan, KOLY in Mobridge, and, of course, KGFX, Capital City Piers, South Dakota, along with all the folks watching and listening to the YouTube channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. Good to have you folks here along as well. Today's show brought to you by the good folks at Action Motorsports on the Strip in Mandan, offering the Polaris Ag Advantage program. This is 10% off any purchase of a brand new Ranger, General, or Sportsman. And for those of you that are in the agricultural business, you can also stop in to see the Polaris Razors for your off-road funds and trails here. And also looking like motorcycle weather right now. Seeing a lot of folks on the motorcycles from Thursday coming from Jamestown all the way back here to the ranch. Action Motorsports, don't forget, is your Indian motorcycle superstore. Action Motorsports on the Strip in Mandan. Well, the good Lord graced me the chance to see another sunrise this morning, so I call that a pretty good morning. Now, before we get started, as the egg producers are still praying for a lot of rain here, or any rain for that matter in my country, I want to thank all the volunteer firefighters who are working pretty darn hard this year as to save as much grazing area as possible. Just a reminder for those of you that are listening, thinking you want to go out shed hunting or hiking and biking on public property, maybe crossing over some private to get there, you need to check with your local county courthouse where you're going, as their burn ban restrictions. Now, some counties have travel restrictions that are tied to these burn bans, and such as no motor vehicles on any trails that have grass on them. That's I know that's in Slope County, so make sure you're parking in a safe spot and walking in instead of taking the trails all the way to the back 40. And so just check with your local county or the county courthouse that you're going to, and see what their burn bans mean and what's tied to it. It doesn't just mean open fires. Well, it's time to welcome the legend of outdoor television, John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, and just hoping that people take heed with the travel restrictions on some of these trails out here. It is nasty dry right now.
It's scary dry. That's for sure.
Yeah. So firefighters, let's see, where was that last one, up by that Killdeer area, Medora area? I think they're still fighting it here this morning. So we want to thank all those guys that do that. We're fortunate. We haven't had one in our area for at least about 30 days now, John. So we're pretty fortunate right now.
No, it was scary. I was doing some work at the ranch, and the only time I could do anything on the tractor was early morning when there was a little bit of humidity and a little bit of moisture. Other than that, it's like stay on the dirt roads.
I just got corrected on YouTube. Darren Munn says it's up by Manning right now here. Darren, if you have any updates on that fire, let me know those. Well, John, we're still in the midst of turkey season going on. I know one of the gentlemen here that usually hunts the public land was very polite about parking at the end of the trail and not going on the grass trails for me. So that was really nice. But he's still searching for his turkey. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. I've had a really good season. I've missed, hit my blind, and killed one. So it's been one of those where I've had some just awesome encounters with some of these. I've had, I think, 2 where they have destroyed my decoys. So that's always fun when those birds come in hammering, and then they beat up on the Jake. And I mean, it's like the Karate Kick. It's like all over them. And I was self-filming myself when this happened, and it was, what I was doing is I was going to set up. I come around a Quonset, and the birds were right there. I was just looking for them. So I backed up, set up the blind around. There was a grain semi there, and set it up and called them in. I'm feeding my horses right now, so excuse me.
That's all right.
Called them in, and they just no response. And then the hens got angry, and the hens started clucking at me. And of course, they brought the big toms in. I'm at full draw, and I had to let down because I was out of frame. Let down, reset the camera, went to full draw. I was concentrating so hard on picking that spot because it's that little spot, because I'd already missed one. And I shot my blind pole. And when I released my arrow, it sounded like, so I'm looking at my bow, trying to figure out the turkeys are still in the decoy. No idea what's going on. And I look, and I see my blind pole is shattered. So, and then the scary thing is I watch in slow motion. Now, my arrow comes out, hits the blind, goes sideways. So it's flying through the air sideways. It hits a hen in the back of the head.
Really?
And she's like, yeah, feathers go flying. And she kind of like turned around like it was almost like one of the birds hit her. And she just started walking away and started feeding again. So I was like, oh my gosh, that would have been a tough one to explain to the game board. And I was aiming at the tom, and I got the hen. But she survived and headed out back the next morning. They did the same thing, but this time I didn't have to reposition the camera, and this time I dropped the bird. So I was pretty happy.
So you're actually hunting next to a semi-trailer here and some grain bins on this?
One was down, I was in the farmyard going to look for the birds along the river. And so usually I just sneak around that barn and see, a quarter mile down the river, and that's where they hang out. And they just happened to be up because this guy was combining corn from last year. So they must have been up by the semis feeding on the corn, and they were down along the river when I called them in. And the next morning they went 400 yards and roosted. And I kind of was looking for them, and they weren't having anything to do with me. So I left, and I was going out the gates, turned around and looked one more time, and they were working their way up the river. So then I went back down and snuck in along the river and got within about 150 yards of them, and they just slowly worked their way along the river and really didn't listen to me. I mean, the hens weren't talking. The birds were hardly gobbling, but then they finally saw my decoys, and then it was game over.
How many decoys a year do you go through then if they're tearing them up?
Well, that's one thing about these HS ones. They're kind of a rubbery one. It's kind of funny because I know guys spend a ton of money on decoys.
Yeah.
And I've been using the Hunter Specialties HS, the trio. It's like, I think, $119 for 3 of them. And they're kind of that rubbery stuff, and they come all kind of messed up, and you put them in, either put them in your bathtub or your shower, or just use a hairdryer on them. And then they hold their shape. They're light, and like I said, you go out and they do the job without spending. Some of those guys spending $200 on a decoy. And I'm like, just for another bird to come in and mess it up.
Well, maybe it's kind of like duck hunting. You got to have that special decoy. The fancy ones. Everybody. Well, yeah. And I hunted, with geese this year, and these new decoys, these silhouettes these guys use. Yeah.
It's just a silhouette, and they still cost an arm and a leg. So yeah, these guys, everybody's got their own, preference on decoys. And I guess I've never, Hunter Specialty has been a sponsor of ours, and I started to use them, and I just haven't looked back because I don't need anything special. They work.
Well, isn't that the
truth? Turkeys aren't that smart.
A lot of people just call them dirty birds anyway, especially if you have a ground hay, silage piles and all that. But John, we're up against our first break here. I'm talking with John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Call in and join in. Tell us your turkey hunting story at 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682 or 888-9-DAKOTA is the number to remember that way. We'll be back more with John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. This is Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio.
Are you looking for a home loan? Dakota Community Bank and Trust makes it easy and convenient to find the best loan program and most current rates available. Whether you are shopping for a home for the first time or thinking about new construction or refinancing, we offer the assistance of an experienced mortgage officer, together with a convenient online or in-person application process. Let us walk alongside you to find that exact loan to meet your specific needs. Find your local home loan officer at dakotacommunitybank.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers, hosting these incredible live and online equipment auctions in Dodge, Animus, Lair, Fairmount, Raleigh, Mercer, Lakota, Cavalier, and Bismarck, North Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Pelican Rapids, Minnesota. And if you're in the market to sell your equipment, Piper's equipment experts are on call anytime for a free consultation. Contact Piper's at 701-523-7366. Bid online and view all upcoming land and equipment inventories at pipers.com.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your locally owned hometown bank, an honor we take great pride in. And our customer satisfaction has always been our most important goal. We've gone along with the communities we serve and will continue to do so with our pledge of modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. From remote deposit options to online mortgage applications, we are happy to serve you wherever you are. Learn more at dakotacommunitybank.com. That's dakotacommunitybank.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers, hosting these incredible live and online equipment auctions in Dodge, Animus, Lair, Fairmount, Raleigh, Mercer, Lakota, Cavalier, and Bismarck, North Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Pelican Rapids, Minnesota. And if you're in the market to sell your equipment, Piper's equipment experts are on call anytime for a free consultation. Contact Piper's at 701-523-7366. Bid online and view all upcoming land and equipment inventories at pipers.com.
That road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Good morning, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors continues on a beautiful Saturday morning live right here at KGFX in Pierce, South Dakota, KOLY in Mobridge, K-Fire in Bismarck, Mandan, KLTC in Dickinson, and KCJB in Minot. And John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is my guest. John, you know the difference between my show and a lot of other shows out there? Did you? I don't know if people know this.
Yours is good.
Well, thank you.
I get to be on it,
and you get to be on it. Is being excuse me. I've got so much dirt in my throat from yesterday. It's live, and if you want to call in, you can right now. So I was listening after I get done with this show, and I go feed or go do whatever I do on another radio station. Is they play a kind of like a car call in and ask question type of thing,
right?
And it's recorded. And they're still giving out the number like it's live. And it's like you call the number and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, we record this on Thursdays. And you can't, so if you have that question, you have to kind of know that. So if you call in right now, right here, you're going to be live. So just to let you know, and if you do call in, it automatically puts you on hold because I am my own producer on this here thing. So there you go. 888-932-5682, 888-932-5682. I got a a person that texts me says I can't. He says I can't call in. Excuse me, John. Jeez, I'm just dying here today. And for those that don't know, I was at a branding yesterday in some pretty fine and dusty corrals. He says I can't call in and tell my turkey story. It involves a golf club. So,
oh my God.
So I don't know. So there you go. The boys in brown can track your text message to me. They're intercepting it right now. We'll see how that goes. So there you go. Let's talk food plots, John, and the drought. I know yours dry. Probably not as dry as we are over here in the western side of the state here, but people looking at putting food plots in dry weather. And I know more than anything besides the food plots, which we'll get to, let's talk water sources for some of these deer. Fortunate here at the ranch, we're very fortunate to have artesian waters, a lot of springs. Of course, some of the springs probably will start drying up here shortly, but the Little Missouri River is, bordering a lot of the property here too. But those that don't have those type of options, what can they do to kind of keep those deer maybe in that same pattern all through the summer going into this spring when archery season does start up?
Well, one of the things we look at is, deer are no different than we are, and they're lazy. But water sources, we have the river where I'm putting in a water hole right now, and it's probably within 100, probably 70 yards of the river. But the thing is when a deer has to water on the river, he's got to come out into the open. And they would much rather be in their sanctuary where they can get water, because they'll get water at that river, but they usually do it. They come through, they feed, they go into the bean field, and when it starts to get dark, they'll go out into the into the river or water on the way back in. And this way, we have kind of a nice little honey hole where I have a kill plot, I call it, where it's it's probably a quarter acre, but it's inside the tree line, and they feel safe. They kind of stage there, they'll feed in there, and I usually put food plots in there that are later season, so they're not mowing it down.
Later season, like what?
Well, I'll put in like a brassica, which is your turnips and things like that. I've tried this one. I forget, it's called like Biologic New Zealand. It's a big leafy, and they eat on it, but they really don't. They just kind of nibble on it until it freezes, and when it freezes, then they smoke it off.
Okay.
And the same with brassicas. When it freezes, it turns into sugar, and then they'll start eating the tops off. And then throughout the winter and through the late season, they'll be chewing on those turnips, and they just keep digging them out. So, if I were to put something in like soybeans, they would just mow them off because it's not a big enough area. And that would be another area you could put in like a clover or a little alfalfa plot so it rejuvenates itself. But water is the ticket, and a lot of guys, I just got a survey from the Game and Fish, dealing with CWD and baiting. And, I'm going to tell people right now, you better get used to the idea that I think it's coming, that they're going to be closing baiting down, because they're talking about even feeding wildlife, which again, we're going to try to get, and I think that would be a good one for you, is I think his name is Charlie, the vet from the Game and Fish, on about CWD.
Charlie is his name?
I think it's Charlie. I'll find out his name. Super nice guy. I met with him one time. Super knowledgeable, very nice. I had talked to Jeb Williams about it, and I asked him about doing a podcast, because I think people we need information. I think sometimes the Game and Fish keeps their information to themselves, and they don't share it, sometimes. I know they had advisory meetings, but like I said, I'd like to see him on the radio or maybe do some podcasts so people can understand CWD, because there's a lot of questions, a lot of doubts about some of it, because I'm one of them. And I know that they're trying to do the right thing, but again, that's for another conversation. But anyway, with water holes, food plots, things like that, are great for drawing deer in without putting, a pile of corn out. And the only thing I can tell people is, like I said, if you can find a water source, and sometimes just 100-gallon tank in the ground, or not even in the ground, because we've got places where we have big stock tanks, and the deer use those. So, I mean, if you can put it in their area, it's a great place to set up a blind or cameras to see what you got going.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the phone lines here, 888-932-5682. Let's go to Hazen here. Jesse, good morning. You're on with John Arman.
Good morning, guys. John, you kind of touched on a little bit of what I was going to ask. With as dry as it is this year so far, unless we get some big rains, do you think that whether it's the deer or the antelope or other big game, is these dry conditions going to make the diseases worse? And not just big game. Our pheasant hatch is coming. We got all kinds of things going on. If we don't get some moisture, what do you think it's going to do to our North Dakota hunting opportunities?
Let's call North and South Dakota because we're dry in that area too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure, that like the pheasant hatch and things like that, dry is not terrible if we get a little moisture and humidity, because they need the humidity in the mornings and things like that. It's one of those, if they can get through that nesting period and the hatching, I think they'll do okay. Again, they rely a lot on bugs and different things like that. Disease again, I don't know. Like I said, one of the things is, when we talk about diseases is blue tongue or EHD, to me is almost more devastating than CWD. And I know sometimes the Game and Fish will argue with me on that, but when CWD hits, they say it's always fatal. And I'm not sure on that, because how do you know it's always fatal? And maybe in controlled environment, yes, I understand that. So they die, and it's not like a quick death. It might be 2 years. I don't know. But when EHD comes through and you talk to the guys like last year, it wiped out hundreds and hundreds, thousands of deer. You watch out in Iowa and stuff, like the Drurys and Lukowskis, when they have it come through, it basically wipes out their whole herd of bucks. So, and that usually is when it's wet and then dries up and you have all those stale ponds around. So if we stay dry like we are now, I don't think we'll have to worry about little ponds, because that's where those midge, the midge lives, is those little stock dams and ponds that are starting to dry up, I think, where it gets kind of that mossy, just kind of a nasty little pond like mosquitoes like. So I don't know. It's one of those deals. Go ahead.
I don't know about you down on the river, but we've got huge mosquitoes up here already.
So no, usually, like I said, we've been good. So I don't know.
With as dry as it is, I wondered if maybe we weren't going to get by with a few less bugs here this spring. But I was at a friend's house last night, just outside of Hazen here, and there's giant condor-sized mosquitoes already. So that's fun.
Condor size. Hold. You guys need to both hold on there for a second. We're up against our half-hour break. Stay with us here. Jesse, I'm going to put you back on hold here so you can stay with us and continue the conversation on the second half of the program. More coming up your way. John Arman is my guest here from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV, and we'll have more on the second half of the program. 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682. If you'd like to call in, talk a little bit of hunting stories next on Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio.
Are you looking for a home loan? Dakota Community Bank and Trust makes it easy and convenient to find the best loan program and most current rates available. Whether you are shopping for a home for the first time or thinking about new construction or refinancing, we offer the assistance of an experienced mortgage officer, together with a convenient online or in-person application process. Let us walk alongside you to find that exact loan to meet your specific needs. Find your local home loan officer at dakotacommunitybank.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers, hosting these incredible live and online equipment auctions in Dodge, Animus, Lair, Fairmount, Raleigh, Mercer, Lakota, Cavalier, and Bismarck, North Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Pelican Rapids, Minnesota. And if you're in the market to sell your equipment, Piper's equipment experts are on call anytime for a free consultation. Contact Piper's at 701-523-7366. Bid online and view all upcoming land and equipment inventories at pipers.com.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your locally owned hometown bank, an honor we take great pride in. And our customer satisfaction has always been our most important goal. We've gone along with the communities we serve and will continue to do so with our pledge of modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. From remote deposit options to online mortgage applications, we are happy to serve you wherever you are. Learn more at dakotacommunitybank.com. That's dakotacommunitybank.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers, hosting these incredible live and online equipment auctions in Dodge, Animus, Lair, Fairmount, Raleigh, Mercer, Lakota, Cavalier, and Bismarck, North Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Pelican Rapids, Minnesota. And if you're in the market to sell your equipment, Piper's equipment experts are on call anytime for a free consultation. Contact Piper's at 701-523-7366. Bid online and view all upcoming land and equipment inventories at pipers.com.
That road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio here, Saturday edition. Good to have you along this morning. All around across the Dakota Territory, around the world here. And music right there from Benny Paulson. I don't know if you guys know who Benny Paulson is. If you don't, you should. First off, check out his music on iTunes. You can find it at Breaking 8 is the name of the band, Breaking 8. And there's some pretty good articles that he's doing right now talking about grazing and different opportunities, I guess, when you're looking at drought conditions. And he just got done teaching a bullfighting school and a bull riding school. So, Benny, if you're listening, hats off to you, guy. You're doing the right thing each and every day. Appreciate that. And John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is still with me here. John, you still there? Hey,
I'm here.
If you're watching on YouTube, there's another John right there. Master John Anderson came over today for the big branding. So you can grab that microphone right there, Master John. He's got a shirt on, John Arman. If you're not watching on the YouTube, he's got a shirt on. It says, I work harder than an ugly stripper.
That's good.
Okay. We'll bring Jesse back on the line here. He's been sitting through the hold here a little bit here. So Jesse might be watching on the YouTube side. I don't know.
I can't watch and be on the line at the same time because I was watching on my phone.
That's
but I
right.
will check out that shirt. That's awesome.
That's right. You have a Droid phone, so you're still working on DOS.
Oh, here we go.
We'll start that. So, Jesse, you were alluding to the water and the EHD, and I had that kind of one of my footnotes that I made before we started the program. And John, there's I don't know if there's a whole nother article I got to talk to you about putting turnips and radishes in for food plots. That's on another side, but we might get there. The EHD side, I agree with you. When you look at CWD and for all the testing that they've done and all the test sites that they've been put up, you might see a handful that maybe test positive in the state of North Dakota. Granted, they only do it in certain areas. I get that. But I would like to see the same study done and results of how many deer were lost to EHD or found dead, because I know just one person that I know that farms south of Scranton that I bet you, he sent a picture. There was like 20, 30 dead deer around this water hole. So I think that has to be looked at too. I don't know what you would do. It's just like CWD. What do you do?
Yeah, I guess, if I think, if you have a river running through there, but if you've got ponds, I think a guy could go out there, and this is just me and my wild, but use like a tempo and spray some of those areas, to kill some of those midge and stuff. And I don't know if they've, ever tried that. And some things, you don't want to mess up too much, but if you don't have a ton of water and you got a few stock dams and stuff, I would think you'd be able to go around maybe and try to knock some of that out, but it maybe just be like, kind of peeing into the wind type deal. So I don't know. I'm not sure what they do. And like I said, the CWD thing to me, I know it's there, but to me, it's almost like the coronavirus. It's like there's not enough known about it, and we panic about it, and we do extreme measures where they've gone out and killed herds of deer. And I know I got a letter or someone, I was on the last time I was on, but someone sent me a text about the Game and Fish was going to go kill all the deer out in the, in those areas. Well, they're not, but they are giving out more licenses and wanting to kill more deer. So, I know that there's been spots where people, in Minnesota where they've shot, in Wisconsin, they've decimated herds.
Yeah, they did.
Which again, I don't know. I'm not sure, because it's not killing off herds. And I would like to know, and again, when we get the Game and Fish on, maybe ask questions. Are the numbers going up? Because like out in our area, we've never had one in 3E2. It's no baiting in that area. Now 3F2, it seems like there's always one a year. Has there been like multiple ones? Is there a lot of them? So there's questions that I have, I guess.
Well, I've had plenty of people on CWD on the radio program from all across the country, and there's many, many areas. I know the Whitetail Institute has been doing studies on this for many, many years, and it doesn't seem like the biologists and the people that are doing the studies on the other side will come together very often and talk about that. But anyway, Jesse, did you have anything else, or John, did you tell him our biggest thing? We're in the Dakota Walleye Classic. We're going to beat Jason's team this year. That's the goal.
There you go.
I think we should just put a tracker on Jason's boat and just follow him around.
I don't think we could catch up.
Well, we can. He's got to stop sooner or later
because he doesn't have a boat right now.
How about this? Wouldn't I feel personally it would be fun to see Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV sponsor our team, Jesse.
There you go. It's like the redheaded stepchild.
See if we could get that done. Anyway, when's that tournament again, Jesse?
This summer. I don't know the date.
End of July, I do believe, right? Last week and last Thursday, Friday, Saturday of July, I believe, is when it is.
It's one of the later tournaments on the lake. That's what makes it a little more challenging, is the fishing gets a little tough right around that time. So it'll test our will and our livers.
Yeah, nothing like a couple sticks of dynamite is what we need.
I like that.
For the rest of the show, you guys have a good day.
All right, thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
You bet. So, I got a person here on YouTube. He's been typing in here and asking some questions and all right, more than comments here, John. We were talking about baiting, and when you were turkey hunting, about having some grain around the semi and the grain bins there. He says, don't worry. The big farmers and ranchers will always have spilled grain piles somewhere. And you think about this too. I mean, when you're looking at what constitutes baiting, and that's kind of a gray area. I mean, what's the size of the food plot? Are food plots baiting if you're hunting over them? I mean, they're coming to it. Or is it just a pile of corn or a corn feeder? What actually constitutes that? I really don't know. Then he also comes back and I was talking about turnips, and you were talking about turnips and radishes and what have you. And he says they smell terrible after they freeze in the fall and again in the spring. So rotted turnips.
Yeah, they do.
So here's a article that I was reading. I believe it was in Washington State. Anyway, the gist of it came down to it. And this happens, some people put turnips and radishes, cover crops here for cattle, and they let them graze. And I was talking to our local vet one time, and we were just discussing some of these crops here. What could a guy do to build up your soil a little bit more and kind of help out the minerals in your soils? And he says it's all good and fun. He says until you got to try to reach down the throat of a cow and try to pull a turnip out of there, or a radish. He says they can choke on them. And then I did a little bit more research, and there's actually somebody in Washington, and they're trying to outlaw turnips and radishes because of those reasons in wildlife. They say that they are choking hazards. So that's how we're getting anymore. We have a kid mittens on for wildlife right now.
Yeah. And again, I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah.
But they can choke on anything.
Exactly.
I mean, and the same with a cow, they can get a piece of something. I mean, I'm not a rancher, so I'm not going to say, but like I said, I know guys use those cover crops all the time and grazing them. And, if they were losing that many cows, they surely wouldn't be doing it. And exactly. I know ranchers that are putting in, hundreds of acres, and they do well for your soil. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's funny. And
the same guy just typed in here, John. He said, "What about all the grain bags the deers punch holes in to eat?" We've seen that happen in silage piles and the whole thing. So what's baiting?
Yeah. And again, like I said, I would. To me, and again, the Game and Fish will say it causes, too many problems. If people would bait appropriately and not dump piles,
right,
and spread it out. If they took a 50-pound bag and spread it out over 50 yards, it's like in Texas where they use those spin feeders.
Yep.
When you put that spin feeder out there, that's no different than a deer grazing. And again, you're not getting that. What I think the Game and Fish worries about is them coming to the same pile.
Right.
And again, we have the argument all the time that deer are very social, that they're touching noses in a food plot, in the wild all the time. But the Game and Fishes look at it and say, well, if we're not being proactive, we're being, not active at all. So, like I said, if people would, baiting is considered in North Dakota, putting anything unnatural. If you're farming and you got a silage pile or a big corn pile, you can sit right next to it. That's not considered baiting because it's a common farming practice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of gray area, and there's a lot of gray area in some of our Game and Fish laws, whether it's tagging your deer immediately or, things like that. So it's up to the discretion of the warden. If you got a bait pile and you're sitting 100 yards off of it, is it baiting? I'd say they'd have a hard time writing you a ticket, or even would write you a ticket. They may give you a warning or something. But if you're sitting over top on, like you're bear hunting and you got a bait pile right there,
yeah,
you're going to get a ticket.
Right.
So, and I know that they're starting to look for that a little bit more. I know guys have been caught up north because they're dumping such big bait piles and they happen to be flying over and they see it. So again,
it all depends on how you look at it. You're talking about Texas and the big spin feeders in Texas. I don't know if this is for every county in Texas, how this works, but one of the private landowners that I was hunting hogs on was doing some paperwork one day, and his was actually the Game and Fish in his area. I'm not going to say this is for all of Texas, but for his area, they actually work with the landowners. And they encourage putting feeders out, and the more the merrier, because they feel, well, if you're going to put a feeder out, you might as well put 10 of them out on your property, or so many per how many acres or whatever it is. And they have a formula for this, because it will keep your deer spreading out and going to different feeders. If they're actually going to the feeders, they said, well, we're not going to stop people from putting feeders out, so why don't we help them out by encouraging them to put more and spreading this out a little bit more. And it is unbelievable, John, how well that worked down there. It really, really did. So don't always want to base everything off of other states, but that's one thing that I seen, that the Game and Fish in Texas was definitely working hand in hand with the landowners, helping them out with this, and got a pretty good discount on, like our plots land, so much per acre. They actually gave them so much per feeder to do this stuff.
No,
so.
And again, I think that's kind of like, again, when I say it's like the coronavirus, it's like people got to pay attention to other states. Like, I watch these other places, and they're not letting their teachers go back, and the unions are complaining. Why don't they look at North Dakota and South Dakota and see what we've been doing as teachers this whole time, and we've been teaching, and things have gone well. So it's the same with CWD, and again, what worries me about some of this is that I know how most kids hunt nowadays, and most adults, they are using, bait of some way. Are we going to take away opportunities for people to hunt? Are we going to lose people, which we're already losing in the outdoors? Is that going to outweigh, the CWD, the chance of it getting CWD? Because there's no way to prove that CWD is spread by baiting, because when you look at Montana, South Dakota, these places that do not allow baiting and have never allowed baiting have CWD way worse than we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, one of the biggest things I've said to the Game and Fish is, our number one way to control it is by what? Population control. So when you're baiting, your percentage is higher kill, you're killing more deer, so you're keeping them thinned out. So I think there could be some give and take in some of this stuff, instead of wiping it out, because again, I worry there's a lot of people, we've been without it for, years, but again, I'm different because I get to put in food plots, but some of these people don't get to put in food plots, and it's their way of being able to get a good shot for their son or daughter, or, whoever.
Or themselves.
Right.
Another text comes in here on YouTube. Thank you, by the way. It says sweet corn planted late in the season does the trick too. You just got to knock it down before the season. Have you ever tried sweet corn? I think that would be a great idea if you could keep the raccoons at bay.
And that's
just called Marty Beard.
Yeah, we have that problem. We've had it at our place. The farmers put it in, but the raccoons are tough on it. And again, like I said, corn. Our biggest thing is soybeans. And I'm going to tell anybody if they're putting in food plots. We found 40 sheds last year in our soybean field. And we've never found it like that, because those deer will stay in that soybean until every soybean is gone, because it is a high protein. Corn is great, but corn doesn't have protein, very little protein. And it's more, like I said, you can find a deer dead. And that's when people will have to understand too about baiting, is that if you're dumping piles and piles of corn, it's not good for deer, because it's just kind of a hollow feed. It will fill their belly and they will die in the wintertime. Of a full stomach, but there's not enough protein. And it's weird how deer, again, they got to get up and travel. Some days they don't get up and travel because they're burning more energy traveling than they will by eating that corn, and their body tells them not to do it. But once they get to the corn, it's kind of like being in a candy dish. They're going to eat until they're full. They feel like they're full, but again, there's no protein in it, and they need that protein. And that's why soybeans and some of these other crops, really, really help, the deer herd. And I tell people, it's why we use Big and J, because it's something, there's stuff in there that's better if you mix it with corn. If you're going to feed and try to, grow bigger deer or whatever, research it, because corn doesn't do it. And I see guys a lot of times saying they're helping wildlife by dumping corn out, and that's, it's not true.
Probably the wrong reason, yeah.
Right, you got to be careful on it. Like I said, it's one of those things in moderation, and if you're going out there to try to sustain your herd by dumping corn, I think you're doing, damage to them.
Yeah. We only have about 3 minutes left. John, want to talk to you about the kids' archery camp at Full Draw Archery Camp. How's that going? How's the lineup?
It's going great. I'm glad you brought that up. We are at 22 kids. We're going to stop it at 25, but I'm going to open it to 30. We have scholarships, so if you're someone out there that says, I just can't afford to go, it's $150 per camper. and we're doing it's a day camp from 8 to 5, July 14th, 15th, and 16th. I just heard my good friend Randy Birdsong from Headhunters TV will be one of my instructors. He's coming in town to help out. So we got a good lineup of coaches. We're going to have another great time. 2 years ago, it was just my first time doing the camp by myself, and it was awesome. The results were great. Kids had fun. Adults had just as much fun. So if anybody's looking to sign up, just go to Raised It Full Draw, and you can get signed up or give me an email or call me, and we'll get you lined up because we're still looking for a few more campers.
So how does the I know last time we talked, we were discussing if somebody wants to donate that $150 or $300 or whatever it may be, and just anonymously do that. Didn't you have something like you could text it, or how did you have that set up?
Yeah, there's a texting one, but again, the easiest way to do it is just go to Raise It Full Draw, and you can donate it. And all your, I think we have it set up so you're not losing. Because one thing about the texting, I think they took some of the money. Any of them, you can PayPal. We've got it set up multiple ways, and that's again. I just had it. We were on our monthly meeting. We really rely on donations. There's no other way we can run this camp, and there's a lot of good things out there, but people, we are putting kids in the outdoors and we're teaching them how to hunt. This isn't just shooting archery. This is getting kids to do what we want to do down the road and get more kids involved in the outdoors.
What's the age limit for the kids? And first off, that's my first question. We're almost up against time, but I have an idea. What's the age?
It is 12 to 17, but I have gone down to 11 years old. I mean, they just got to call and talk to me. The reason it's 12 is because we certify them with the Bow Hunters Education. Up to 17, but again, if you're still in high school and you're a late bloomer and you're 18, just call me. We'll get you in.
Okay. And when are the dates?
July 14th, 15th, and 16th.
All right. So here's what we're going to do, John. I don't know if you're up for this. But are you willing to give your cell phone number out on the air?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So let's do this. The first two people to call that want to sign their kids up to John after we're done with the show, I will pay for those two kids.
Oh, that is awesome, buddy.
Will that work for you?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I said, that's awesome.
The first two, if you have kids or if you're listening and you want to do this here, ages 11 through 18, if you want to do this here and get into this camp and get certified, call John Arman. The number is, John, give your phone number.
It's 701-391-2438.
391-2438. You bet.
Yep. They can text me. And like I said,
don't necessarily have to call. It's the first two that get in touch with you through that number.
Yep.
I'll pay for those kids' camp fees.
Well, that is awesome.
Okay.
I know that's huge for kids. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. 701-391-2438. 701-391-2438. You can text them to that and get a hold of John right there and get into the camp. John, appreciate you coming on the program today. As always, making time on a Saturday. I know it's kind of difficult, but I do appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You bet, buddy. I needed a break from turkey hunting. They were kicking my butt.
All right. Have yourself a great weekend, my friend.
All right. You too, buddy.
You bet. Thanks a lot. John Arman, Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Once again, if you want to get into that camp, if you're the first two to text or call John at 701-391-2438, you're in. I'll pay for it. Have yourself a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk. Have a great one. Okie dokie, John. I appreciate it, man. I hate to cut it short, but I got a branding I got to head to, my friend.
And all right, man. Have a great day.
And let me know if somebody gets in touch with you, okay?
All right. Thanks.
You bet. See ya. YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in. Have yourself a good one. And remember, this covers anywhere. If you want to come up for that camp and you want to I'll cover the camp fees, not your travel fees. But if you want to do that, have fun with that too. Have a good weekend.